Okay, picture this. You're deep in the woods. It's night. And you're completely alone. You hear the usual sounds, maybe wind, animals, but underneath there's this heavy silence. It makes you feel really exposed, you know?
Yeah, vulnerable.
Exactly. So tonight, we're not dealing with fiction. We're going to share some genuinely unsettling real-life stories.
Real encounters.
Yeah, moments when people were totally isolated in remote forests and experienced something just, well, frightening.
And these are just campfire tales. These are like first-hand accounts from the actual people who went through it.
Right. They share them online, these personal narratives.
It gives you that raw feeling, you know? What happens when being alone out there suddenly goes dark?
So we're going to recount these experiences, try to really draw you into that feeling, that suspense, and creeping dread they must have felt. Okay, ready for the first one?
Let's do it. Knowing they're true just adds this whole other layer, doesn't it? Fiction can't quite capture that same chill.
Definitely. So this first story takes place back in 2015. Someone decides to hike up to an abandoned fire lookout tower. It's a few hours from their home. Now, right off the bat, there's a bit of a questionable decision, maybe. The lookout was officially off limits.
Because it wasn't safe.
It's supposedly not structurally sound, yeah. But I guess the idea of exploring it, being up there alone with the views, it was just too tempting.
I can kind of understand that pull, the adventure aspect, but still risky. Had they checked if it was even standing?
They had. Looked online, found some info saying it was still there, but the most recent update was like 3 years old.
Oh, wow. Okay, so definitely uncertain.
Very. So this person sets off. It's a 4 to 5 hour hike.
Yeah.
And it's not like a marked trail.
Right.
No, this is through dense, unmarked woods. They're just using a handheld satellite GPS to navigate.
That alone sounds intense. Just pushing deeper and deeper into nowhere.
Yeah, imagine that isolation just building and being that far out. I mean, if something goes wrong.
You're on your own, completely, which just ramps up the tension before anything even happens.
So finally, after all that hiking, they see it, the lookout. It's described as, worn down, paint peeling, but surprisingly, it looked solid enough.
Okay.
Solid enough to climb, anyway. There's a small single room up top. Old furniture inside, decaying. But the view...
must have been amazing.
Apparently stunning. 360 degrees of just forest. Nothing else.
So that initial reward makes the risk feel worth it, probably. That feeling of being totally cut off.
I think so. So evening comes, sunset is incredible. But then it gets dark. And not just dark, like really dark. Cloud cover rolled in, no moon, no stars, just pitch black.
Okay, setting the scene.
Yeah. So the narrator is sitting out on the edge, the walkway around the lookout room, maybe an hour after sunset. And they see something down below. Strange.
What kind of strange?
An orange flickering light moving through the trees down the slope.
Like a flashlight.
Didn't seem like it. Described it as less artificial, maybe more like a torch or a small campfire, maybe.
Okay, that is weird out there. Who else would be wandering around without a proper light?
Exactly, especially somewhere so remote. Highly unlikely.
Yeah.
So this light flickers around for a bit, then just disappears.
Gone.
So another half hour goes by. Nothing. The narrator stands up, thinking about going inside, takes one last look down, and sees a figure.
Oh, man, where?
Standing right at the bottom of the lookout ladder, looking straight up at them.
Just appeared in that darkness. That's instantly creepy.
Totally. So the narrator calls out, hello? Nothing. Just silence. For maybe like 10 or 15 seconds, which must have felt like forever. Just silent eye contact in the dark. Then the figure slowly raises a hand, almost like a little wave, or maybe like, sorry to disturb you, it just turns and walks silently into the woods.
Without a light. Still no light.
Still no light, just vanished into the trees.
Okay, even if you try to rationalize that as another hiker, the delayed response, the silence, no light, that's deeply unsettling.
Yeah, the narrator felt that too. Tried to brush it off, but felt really uneasy. So later, middle of the night now, they're asleep, and they get woken up by a sound.
Don't tell me.
The ladder. That soft metal creaking sound of the ladder.
Oh no.
At first they thought maybe they imagined it, but then it happened again and again. Louder. It sounded like someone was climbing up.
That is terrifying. Trapped up there, basically. The ladder's the only way.
Heart absolutely pounding. Jumps out of the sleeping bag, grabs their backpack just in case, and rushes over to the edge, to the top of the ladder.
Dang.
The second they get there, silence. The creaking stopped.
Oh, that's almost worse.
Right. So they look down the ladder. Nobody there. empty. Just blackness below.
Confusion and pure fear, I imagine. Did they hear me? Where did they go?
Exactly. And then, the absolute worst thing. A sudden burst of footsteps, running.
Where?
On the wooden walkway, right behind them.
No! Up there, with them.
Yes. They caught like a glimpse of dark shape moving fast between the windows on the other side of the little room.
Oh my God.
Didn't even think. Just threw themselves onto the ladder and started scrambling down as fast as humanly possible. Totally convinced someone was right behind them, chasing them.
That feeling of being hunted, trapped above you while you're trying to get down.
And apparently, as they were climbing down, they risked a quick look up and just saw a head peering down over the edge at them.
No. Okay, that confirms it. Pure nightmare fuel.
They climbed down, shaking, ladder probably slippery from dew or rain, terrified someone's right above.
Horrible.
Didn't stop until they hit the ground and just bolted into the woods.
Did they get away?
Thankfully, yes. Had their flashlight, had that GPS, managed to navigate back out in the dark, found the car, and just drove. Never looked back.
Wow. Just wow. And never knowing what or who that was, that's the chilling part.
Exactly, the not knowing. Okay, let's shift to the second story.
All right.
This one involves a solo camping trip. Again, remote location. An unmarked lake that the narrator actually knew really well. Used to go there camping with her dad as a kid.
Okay, so a place with good memories. Should feel safe, familiar.
Right. And the first day was totally fine. Peaceful, quiet, just enjoying being by the lake. Walked around the edge of it a few times, just taking it all in.
Sounds nice.
Normal.
Totally normal.
Until the second day. They're doing another walk around the lake, same path they'd walked before, and they see something.
What this time?
Footprints. Fresh footprints. In the dirt, near the trees. Barefoot footprints.
Barefoot. Okay, that's immediately weird.
Very weird. And what made it super unnerving was they knew those prints weren't there earlier. They'd walked that exact spot hours before. They just appeared.
And barefoot suggests, well, it's just odd. Plus, were they near the water? Could someone have been swimming?
Apparently not in a spot where it was easy to get in or out of the water. It really just looked like someone came out of the trees, stood there looking at the lake, and went back into the trees.
Okay, yeah, that raises alarm bells. The feeling of being watched.
Instantly, paranoia kicks in. Who's out here? Why barefoot? Why didn't I see them? The narrator didn't follow the tracks into the woods, just went back to the campsite feeling really uneasy.
Understandable. That quiet peacefulness is gone now.
Completely gone. And that anxiety just builds as it starts to get dark.
Right. Nightfall in the woods after something weird happens is never fun.
So night comes. It's properly dark now. They're by their campfire. And they hear footsteps coming from the trees towards the camp.
Oh boy.
Not just one person either. Sounded like multiple sets of footsteps.
Okay, this is getting tense.
Then, two people emerge from the darkness. Step just into the edge of the firelight. A man and a woman.
Together.
Yeah.
Disappearing like that.
Yeah, but then almost immediately, before anyone says a word, the woman just turns around and sprints. Full sprint back into the pitch black woods. Vanishes.
Why? That's bizarre.
Totally bizarre. And the man, he just stays there. Silent. Doesn't even look back at the woman who just bolted.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the narrator notices.
Let me guess.
He's barefoot.
Knew it. Okay, so these are the people from the footprints. What did he do?
The narrator asks him, can I help you? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy just turns and quietly walks back into the woods. Same way the woman went. No explanation. Nothing.
That is profoundly strange. The silence, the woman running, him being barefoot.
Yeah.
Just deeply unsettling.
Yeah. The narrator was completely freaked out. The whole thing felt totally surreal and wrong.
I bet. What do you even do then?
Pack up immediately. That was the only thought. Get out of there. Now.
Good call.
Luckily, the campsite was pretty simple, quick to dismantle, so within minutes, they're packed and heading back down the trail into the woods. It's like a 2-hour walk, I remember, in the dark.
After that encounter, oh man, every noise must have been terrifying.
For the first 10 minutes, yeah. Every rustle, every snap of a twig. But then, about maybe 40 minutes into the walk, the woods went completely silent. Eerily quiet.
Okay.
And then they heard it. Running. Footsteps running nearby in the trees. Maybe like 100 feet away.
Oh, come on.
Then, a few minutes later, same sound, but on the other side. And the footsteps sounded quiet. Too quiet for shoes on forest floor.
Barefoot. They were being followed. Stalked.
That was the terrifying thought, yeah.
Yeah.
Are these barefoot people stalking me through the woods?
That is pure psychological horror. Hearing them but not seeing them.
And it kept happening. Little bursts of running footsteps in the distance, sometimes closer, sometimes farther, like they were being quietly tracked, maybe played with. Then maybe A sudden sprint sound farther away.
Yeah.
Just messing with their head.
That's awful, just wanting to get back to the car.
Somehow they made it. Got back to the truck, got in, locked the doors, and drove away as fast as they could.
Safe, thank goodness.
Safe, but haunted by it. And the question that stuck with them that really adds a chill, were those people they encountered even alive?
Whoa. Okay. Yeah, the way they acted the barefoot thing, it makes you wonder about something else entirely. Something supernatural, maybe.
It definitely leaves that door open, doesn't it? Okay, one final story for tonight.
All right, let's hear it.
This one comes from a woman who was traveling solo, living out of her van. This was up in the forests of Washington State.
Okay. Van life, but the remote version.
Exactly. She actively preferred backcountry spots, away from towns and people. Felt safer and more peaceful out in the woods, ironically.
Yeah, the irony is thick there, given these stories.
So she finds this spot, pulls off a back road onto a little dirt trail, but it's a nice secluded area with an old stone fire circle, surrounded by really dense forest. Weather check. It's spring, and it's raining. A lot.
Got it. Isolated, rainy, deep woods.
One evening, she's in the van, side doors open, just for some air, I guess, working on her laptop, and she sees this weird glare on her screen, like a light reflecting.
From where?
Coming from the rear window of the van. But before she could even really register it or turn around, it just switched off, vanished.
Like someone shone a light and then quickly turned it off.
That's what it felt like. No sound, just the light appearing and disappearing on her screen. And no obvious source.
Could it have been another car? Headlights?
She thought about that. Maybe another camper arrived. But the angle seemed wrong. It didn't seem like it came from the direction of the road or trail access. It was odd.
Okay, another little unsettling detail. Planting a seed of doubt.
Exactly. So later that night, the rain gets really heavy. Thunder starts rolling in. Big storm.
Yeah.
And over the sound of the rain and thunder, she hears something specific.
What now?
A distinct sound of someone running outside and then kicking a branch, like really close to the van.
To hear that over a thunderstorm, it must have been right there.
Had to be. And immediately, she gets that feeling, that prickling sensation of being watched in the dark.
Yeah, that's your instinct screaming at you.
Then it escalates. She hears a voice, a male voice, whispering, just outside the van.
Whispering. Oh, that's creepy.
Then she hears the sound of someone leaning against the sliding side door. She could hear the plastic of the door kind of bend or creak under the weight.
Physical contact with the van now, that's a huge escalation.
Huge. And then the knocking started on the side door.
Just knocking. No words.
Not at first. Just rhythmic, insistent knocking. For what she said, felt like a terrifyingly long 5 minutes. Just knock, knock, knock. In the pouring rain and thunder.
That's pure intimidation tactic. Just letting you know they're there, testing you.
Totally.
Yeah.
Then finally, the voice speaks again. It says, Sheriff's Department, open up.
Oh, I don't think so. Not out there, middle of nowhere, in a storm, acting like that.
Her thoughts, exactly. It felt immediately wrong. Didn't sound like any cop she'd ever encountered.
Right. Too cliche almost. And why whisper and not creepily first?
Exactly. So the knocking continues. The voice gets more insistent, keeps saying, Sheriff's Department, open the door. She manages to peek out a window without being obvious. Sees a dark figure standing near the door.
Could she make out any details? Uniform? Anything?
No, just a dark shape. Didn't look like they had any police gear on, though. Just looked like a person standing there in the dark and rain.
Okay, time to go.
Absolutely. She realized this was really dangerous. Made the split-second decision. Start the van, get out of there.
Good. Please tell me the van started.
It did. But as soon as she turned the engine over, she heard footsteps. 2 sets. Pounding towards the side of the van.
They're rushing her.
Yes. As she slammed it into drive and pulled away, a figure lunged and appeared right in the driver's side window, next to her face for a second.
Too close.
Way too close. Thankfully, the ground wasn't too muddy, the van got traction, and she managed to speed back onto the dirt trail and then the main road.
Did she see them follow? Any car lights?
Looked in her mirrors, saw nothing. No headlights, no other vehicles anywhere on that road. Just her escaping into the night.
Which confirms they weren't cops. They were just people out there with bad intentions, trying to trick her into opening the door.
Seems like it. She did file a police report later, but, well, nothing ever came of it. What could they do, really?
Not much, sadly. Just another deeply disturbing encounter out there in the isolation. Really highlights how vulnerable you can be, even inside a vehicle.
It really does. And, you know, these stories, they're all different, obviously, but the common thing is that feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, that profound sense of vulnerability when you're truly alone. and the absolute terror of the unknown.
Yeah, it reminds you that even places you think are peaceful or places you know well, the unexpected can just materialize out of the darkness.
And being isolated just amplifies that fear, doesn't it? The fear of what you can't see or explain.
Definitely. These accounts, they're just glimpses, really, into moments of genuine terror. They give you a stark sense of what being alone can mean and the sort of mysteries that might be lurking just out of sight.
It makes you think about the edges, the things that don't have easy, logical answers, that unsettling reality that sometimes things just happen out there.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight as we shared these unsettling stories from the wilderness.
We hope they gave you a compelling look, maybe a frightening one, into what can happen when you face the unexpected out there in the quiet places.
If you found these stories gripping and you'd like to hear more true accounts of the unsettling and unexplained, please do make sure to like this, share it with someone who enjoys these kinds of tales, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs.
Your support helps us keep bringing these stories to light. Until next time, stay safe out there.
Take care.